So today's lecture is about setting up a very nice workflow for everyone so that in future, whatever you are building, this workflow can be utilized. You can, of course, modify and you can identify a workflow that works really well for you. But today, what I'm going to teach is my own workflow, which I use for building any sort of projects. So in today's lecture, it will be an overall, we won't be building anything complex yet from scratch. That we are reserving for the next lecture where it will be purely building. But today's lecture will set up the prerequisites for that in terms of what the workflow can look like when you are building. So these are the items that we'll be discussing today. First is setting up Claude Code itself, which I'm assuming that many of you might have tried, some of you might not have tried. So it's depending on what platform you use. I primarily use Claude Code. So when I'm talking about my workflow, I'll be talking about it from the perspective of a Claude Code user. I will also go into a little bit of detail about the CCO GitHub. CCO GitHub I had shown briefly in one of the first or second lectures, but today I'll talk about why do we need it and how it is helpful. For setting up a workflow in a remote instance, I will talk a little bit about how can you set up your own AWS EC2 instance. This will help you tremendously control whatever you are building remotely. You don't have to be sitting in front of a computer. I'll also discuss briefly about how to control your EC2 instance from your computer using VS Code SSH extension. I'm sure many of you are familiar about this, but let's discuss through the entire workflow once where all of these tools are involved. Then I will also discuss about how to install Openclaw and how to use Openclaw for kind of orchestrating what Claude Code is already able to automate to a great extent. Then I'll talk about how to use Telegram so that from Telegram app on your mobile phone, you can control whatever is happening with the help of Openclaw on your AWS EC2 instance. This will give you a lot of freedom to sort of give feedback and let things happen overnight, even when you are sleeping. So it's as if you are hiring a worker or something for you, where even when you sleep, that worker does not sleep. We'll discuss a little bit about tmux for terminal multiplexer. Basically, from the same terminal, you can operate multiple terminal, you can open multiple terminal sessions. This will also help you conduct some parallel workflows if your computer has decent RAM and decent computing. And then we'll talk a bit about /commands/skills and how can you set up your own custom commands. Custom commands are where you can automate a repeating operation which you may want to do in your project again and again. And this operation, whatever it is, you define in a markdown file and you can convert it into a custom command. So we'll discuss that. And global versus local skills. So global versus local skills are user level skills that are global, irrespective of what you as a user you are building. Global skills will be applied. Local skills will be applied at a project level. So a same user might have 10 different projects. Some skills the user requires are global. It applies for all the projects. Some skills are local. It applies only for specific projects. So we'll discuss that. Yeah, so we'll also talk about adding API keys where we can provide. Those parts are now very easy. So CCO, if CCO is constantly asking you to log in, it won't ask you constantly to log in, but next day it will ask you to log in. If one day the session has timed out or something, next day it will ask you to log in. So in my experience, whenever I use CCO or whenever I use Claude Code, I have to log in once in a day, which is not much big of a deal. So first is we can start with Claude Code itself. The installation part is fairly straightforward. So, okay, there is also a question, is CCO safe to use since it's a third-party GitHub repo? Yeah. So I don't use CCO primarily on my computer that much. Sometimes I use, of course, but I have almost always used it on my EC2 instance where I don't have any sort of personal stuff there except for API keys. And API keys, anyway, I have good control over. So I'm not too much worried about giving CCO access to my AWS EC2 instance. I am a little bit concerned about yes, we will discuss what CCO is. Let's go step by step. All right, so let's start with Claude Code. So for those of you who have not installed Claude Code, just search Claude Code and then its documentation website will come. But then this is the primary website. Just go to Claude.ai, not Claude.ai, code.claude.ai. So code.claude.com. Just use this. And regarding the next lecture will not be tomorrow. Next lecture will be on Saturday. Start timing is either 9 a.m. or 9:30 a.m. I'm yet to finalize it. I'll let you guys know. So the build session, which was supposed to happen tomorrow, will be happening on Saturday. Then there are 2 more build session with Dr. Raj and Rajat. I have made an announcement regarding the timing for that also. So to install Claude Code, all you need to do is like run this on your terminal. The command will vary slightly depending on whether you use Mac OS or Windows, but you can find the command from the Claude Code website. So just go to this and just install it using your terminal. This will take you hardly 5 minutes. All right. Now, one thing Claude Code does is it is a very good coding agent, right? So it has access to different LLMs built by Anthropic. But at the end of the day, Claude Code is an coding agent which has access to different large language models built by Anthropic. So what it does is, if you are, let's say, building something which involves making changes in your root folder or working directory, it will almost always will keep on asking you permission to do something. And then you have to give permission by saying yes or no, or you have to say, yes, it's okay for this session. And that is a little bit annoying because it will make you sit in front of your computer throughout the building process, because you don't know when your agent is going to ask you a question and you have to sit. Question regarding permission, you have to sit. So CCO, this is definitely not built by official, Claude or any other team, but this is from a third party. But what they have built is, it allows you to run Claude Code with this dangerously skip permissions option, but at the same time, containerizing it such that the environment in which agent is running is kind of safe. Now, I personally am not vouching for the safety of this or anything because I have no idea. And I have been using this maybe for the last 5-6-ish weeks, mostly for projects where I'm not exposing too much of my personal data. But this is the GitHub repo of CCO. To install CCO, you can just scroll down and here is this command. So just copy this command and run it on your terminal. I have noticed that some Windows users have found some hiccups while installing this. I mean, of course, the command is different for Windows, but I have noticed that there is some hiccup associated with it. For Mac users, I have not seen any issue being encountered. But you can, for today's purpose, you can still run your building process without CCO. And if you have Openclaw can take care of continuously monitoring Claude Code, and it can keep giving permissions to Claude Code. So that is one reason why I'm also going to talk about Openclaw today. The second thing is, where do you want to run your building? Where are you going to run your code, or in which computer are you going to give your coding agent or your Openclaw agent access? You might have seen many people purchasing Mac Mini. So Mac Mini is just this piece of computer, which is slightly less expensive than MacBook Pro. So it just comes just as a box. And if you want, you can connect a monitor to it. If you just want to use it as a remote computer on which you want everything to run, so that you are not exposing anything personal, you start with a fresh computer. And the only purpose for this is to act as your coding agent and your personalized agent. You can do that. So this is one option. The problem that I find with Mac Mini is that you have to make sure that it is plugged in always. If there is any power disruption or anything like that, it's going to shut down, and then you have to figure out rebooting it and stuff like that. In my mind, the quickest solution is going with an Amazon AWS EC2 instance. So EC2 instance is nothing but, Amazon allows you to create virtual computers. For those of you who don't know, I'm sure most of you know what it is. but Amazon allows you to create virtual computers which are run on the cloud. So you don't have to maintain it. It can be technically on 24/7, and there is no constraint with respect to physical hardware. And purchasing this is almost instantaneous. You just go to AWS website and purchase it, or you just you also pay based on the usage. It's not like you purchase an entire computer or something like that. You pay per use. And also the other good thing is you can go from very low end to very high end. Yeah, you can go with Azure or GCP. Anything does not matter. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all the same. But I use Amazon AWS, and we have to talk about one thing, right? So that's the reason. But if you prefer Azure or GCP, go ahead. No worries. Anything is fine. But at the end of the day, I find having a remote computer much better than remote computer on cloud, better than having a physical hardware like Mac Mini. Maybe if I feel the need for running some robot inferencing, so we are training some robotic hardware kit where inference has to run a little bit fast. And I have noticed that there, if we use SSH to connect our local computer or this particular hardware into, let's say, run pod GPU and communicate back, that SSH tunneling causes a little bit of delay. So I don't want, for robotics inferencing, I don't necessarily want the computation to happen on a remote server because it causes a lot of delay. Inference needs to be fast. In that case, I can make use of Mac Mini. So that's the only case in which I feel like I may end up buying a Mac Mini. Other than that, I prefer a cloud virtual machine. So let's see how to set up a AWS EC2 instance. This to reach a level where you can see this dashboard, you will have to first fill your information. They might ask for some details because we have a company account. They were asking for our, I think, company PAN card or something like that. But I'm not sure if for you are taking it on an individual capacity, whether they will ask that or not. So for us, this took me about 5 minutes to set up. Just search AWS or GCP or Azure on Google, and then just follow the instructions that their website gives. Basically, the goal is set up any kind of virtual machine to which you can connect your computer, right? So that you can command it from your computer, and then later everything can be run on that local machine. So in EC2, the easiest way to do that is just from this page, give whatever name and decide the operating system. I almost always go with Ubuntu. I think this is well maintained and it's very, very reliable. So go with Ubuntu operating system. And here is the instance type, which shows you what kind of memory, what kind of storage, etc. you get. So there are actually many variants here. You might even get confused. If you start scrolling down, you will see that there are endless options, starting from low pricing to high pricing. For my current EC2 instance, I have taken one with 32 gigabytes of RAM. And storage, I forgot actually, it's not that high. Storage, I don't need anyway that much. So, but I forgot what the name was. But what you can do is you can just click here, compare instance types, and then a table will show up with the memory and the pricing. The pricing is per usage. Okay, I don't think the pricing is shown in this table. But the best thing to find what instance fits your particular use case is just ask ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini itself that this is my requirement and these are the kind of projects that I'm going to run. If it is a very lightweight agent, maybe 1 gigabytes of RAM or 2 GB of RAM might be sufficient. In my case, I was pretty sure from my past experience that even 8 GB is not sufficient. So I went with 32 gigabytes of RAM. I did not go with T2 2x large. It was something else. I can check the name because in all of these different variants, there are different RAMs, and I'm sure the processor is also different. So this is something which you can experiment and figure out because closing an instance once it is created is not a difficult thing. If you don't want it, you can terminate it and close it, so it's not charging you anymore. In any case, if you go with the lowest one, even T2 Micro, my understanding is that AWS gives you 750 free hours or something. So AWS T2 Micro free usage. Micro free tier offers up to 750 hours per month for Linux or Windows. Okay, for Ubuntu, I'm not sure whether this applies or not. But the point being, without spending any money from your pocket, you can get started. And then when you are launching the instance, let me go back. Okay, this is my current instance which is running. And yeah, so this is the instance type which I have used, C5.4x large. I'll just paste the name here. But let me just launch a new one. I'll just show you the full process. And I will go with T3 Micro. It's very cheap relatively. And here they will ask for a key pair. So key pair, we can just ask it to create a new key pair. And my screen is freezing a little bit, but yeah. And it will allow you to download a file called .pem file, .pem. It's a file in which there will be some sort of key or token, which will allow you to connect your local computer to AWS. So here, let me just name it as something. So it will get automatically downloaded. So the most recommended practice is this .pem file, because it is containing the key to access your EC2 instance remotely. Just store it somewhere else also, apart from your downloads. Right now, it is there in my downloads. I'll show you where to use it. One more information that you would need is, okay, this you can keep allow SSH traffic from anywhere for the time being, and later you can change if you want. Rest of the things I'll keep as such. So 8 gigabytes of storage, which is more than enough for now. And number of instances, 1. And here, one more thing is this location. So location I had changed to Asia Pacific Mumbai, because I am situated near Mumbai right now. It's better if I have something which is from here, but depending on your location, choose your location to launch the instance from, and then just click launch instance. And this will hardly take like 2 or 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, so the instance is launched, and you can see that over here. Just click this instances and you will see both of the instance. So I should have now 2 instances, one which I already had and one which I just created. I chose 8 gigabytes at the end. I chose whatever was default. Actually, if you guys want to do something serious, my recommendation is go with at least 16 gigabytes of RAM and some storage. 8 gigabytes, it's too less, right? So just go with something higher. Here I'm just using it for demonstration purpose. The one which is named as Visuara, I have I think good enough storage and 32 gigabytes of RAM. Anyways, and then yeah. So CCO, I'm yet to come to CCO in detail, but basically CCO, it's when you run Claude Code will keep asking you permission to execute actions, because it is making changes in your folder structure. It is probably accessing something which, unless your permission is there, it should not automatically access. But you can run Claude Code with a command called dangerously skip permissions. It's not related to CCO at all. It is already there in Claude Code. But then when you do that, you want to make sure that Claude Code is only able to access something in a containerized environment. Without going into detail of that, CCO basically provides you some sort of containerized environment, which is a bare level of protection, so that Claude Code will not access something which is outside of your working directory or something like that, unless you explicitly say otherwise. Plus, you can keep running it without having to encounter asking of permission each and every 2 minutes. So this basically makes your workflow much faster. But as we discussed, CCO is something which is created by third party. But until if there is any official implementation of something similar, you can try this on your EC2 instance or on your remote system. But on your personal computer, it's your choice. I have installed it right now to show a few things, but I don't extensively use it. All right. So now let me see if my EC2 new EC2 instance is ready or not. Okay, it says it's initializing, so maybe it will take some time. Now let's discuss how to connect your local computer Visual Studio Code to your AWS EC2 instance. So first thing, what we need is, so this is my local computer. What you see right now, the folder name, the working folder directory name is called Setting Up Remote EC2. This is on my computer. Okay. This one, on the other hand, which is saying workflow demo, and here you can see an SSH with an IP. This is on AWS EC2 instance, which I already had, not the new one, the one which I already had. So let me not show you this directly. Let me go back to my VS Code. So right now, this VS Code, let's see how to connect this to my latest, the EC2 instance, which I just created. So first thing what I need here is the .pem file. So I had downloaded it into my downloads folder. So let me just find the .pem file. So this is my PEM file, and where is my folder? Setting up remote EC2. So find your working directory and just put your PEM file there. Of course, this is not the ideal practice. There are better ways in which PEM can be managed, but since this is my computer, nobody is going to access this file. Now, if you have installed CCO, what you can do is this is your terminal, right? So on VS Code, on the left-hand side, you can see all the folders in your current working directory. If you don't know what is your current working directory, just type pwd, it will show the full path. So pwd stands for present working directory. So this is my full path. So this is my present working directory, which is same as this folder, setting up remote EC2. Now, one thing you might want to install is go to extensions in VS Code. So this is the extensions icon, and search for remote EC2, not remote EC2, remote SSH. So this is from Microsoft, and this is an extension which will allow you to connect to your EC2 instance remotely from your local Visual Studio Code itself. Okay. So just install this. I have already installed this, which is why here it says uninstall or disable. It's already there in my system, but you can just click and install it in 1 minute. Then next thing is, once it is installed, you can go here and okay, let me go back to remote SSH and look at its instructions on how to connect. Okay, so here we just need to type the command. Let me enter some students from the waiting room. Yeah. Yeah, so PEM file would have been automatically downloaded to whatever is your default downloads folder from when you created the EC2 instance. So they ask for a key, right? So create the key and then give it a name. And then by default, it will have the option .pem. So you don't have to do anything extra. But then the moment you save, it will automatically download the .pem file to your computer. And then you just store it somewhere else also apart from your downloads, because you might need it later. Okay, so here what I need to do is like search remote SSH. So what you need to do is go to your this top search bar on the VS Code. And when you click it, you will see an option called show and run commands, or you can use the shortcut command shift P. So then it will enter this mode, and there you should see remote SSH connect to host, or you can just manually type it. If you don't see it, just type remote SSH connect to host. I'll just paste this command on chat. And then here you will see the host IP. This is because I had already connected to this remote EC2 instance before. But if you want to configure something new, just click here, add new SSH host. One thing we can do here, which will make our life so much more easier, is CCO. So yeah, so one more thing. Now we are entering Claude Code. So just go to the terminal below. So to open the terminal on Mac, the command is Command plus J. So if you press Command J, it will open. If you press again, it will close. Okay. So just type either Claude. If you type Claude and press Enter, it will open Claude Code. If it is installed already. But then Claude Code will be opened in the normal mode where it will keep on asking you permissions. So if you want to skip the permissions, what you can do is, so I'm exiting it. And instead of typing Claude on your terminal, just type CCO. So now Claude Code will be open, but with dangerously skip permissions enabled, but also containerized in a containerized environment. Now here we can ask Claude Code to set up the remote SSH connection. So connect to my remote EC2 instance that I have recently created. The PEM file is pasted in the working directory. Then Claude will also ask you for the most likely the public IP. So let me just check what is the status of this by refreshing. So Claude on the remote, so I have not even connected to remote yet, right? So I'm about to connect to my remote. So Claude Code right now, what I have shown is on my own computer. So Claude Code is pretty, yeah, you should install it on the remote also for sure. Yes, you should install it on both because at the end of the day, you're going to run Claude Code on your remote. So I'm about to show you that. But before that, I had to make use of Claude to, or I am making use of Claude to connect my computer to the EC2 instance. So this is my new EC2 instance. I just click this to open and it should show me a public IP. So this I can just copy. And then most likely Claude Code will ask it here. Key permissions are set. Once you share the IP and OS, command will be this. Okay, so then I'll say this is my public IP. And the OS that I'm using is Ubuntu. So I'll just answer that question. It's also asking if I know the username. My username is basically, I think it was just Sreedath, Sreedath's EC2, or I can also provide the instance ID, I guess, but let's see. Wrong username. Wrong key pair, or SSH might not be open to your IP. Check the inbound rules in the instances security group. Okay, so let me go to the security group so that you can find here itself in this page. Go to security, and in the inbound rules, these are the inbound rules which we will have to edit. So and edit inbound rules. And I think it's already set up. So let me just make sure that this is all right. So one more thing you can do in Claude Code is you can just take a screenshot and drag and drop the screenshot here, okay, in this terminal itself. And then it will show like image one here on the top. It will show up in a moment. So see image one. So it creates a local temporary storage. And then in that storage, from that storage, this image can be accessed. So just because it is terminal, don't worry that you cannot give it visual commands. You can. This is what I see on my instance. Can Cloud Code read files present on the remote directly from my host machine? I think it can read as long as the SSH connection is set up. That's what I'm going to show you right now. Yeah, I can repeat whichever step you are at. I can just repeat what is the next step. Security looks like issue is the key pair, but I don't think key pair is wrong. I think the key pair is correct. What AMI instance is it using? Let me check. Yeah, we can provide username or even instance ID directly. Instance name is no need to add another volume. Right now, it can be you know uh, whatever is the default. The Claude command to bypass permissions on is this dangerously skip permissions. It's also mentioned here, this one. So if you don't want to use CCO, you can just use this command, dangerously skip permissions. I mean, there is a reason why it's named as dangerously skip permission, because it's not the recommended practice. Okay, now select your instance detail tab, look for the key pair name field. I'll tell you which key was assigned when the instance was launched. Okay. This is the AMI name. This is the key pair. Yeah, I'm also still in the step of connecting this particular instance to my VS Code. Let's see what's the issue. Oh, okay. So maybe by accident, I did not end up selecting Ubuntu as the OS. Maybe I ended up selecting Amazon Linux, which is the default now. So perhaps that was the issue. So when it asked what was my operating system, I ended up giving Ubuntu. But although I had selected Ubuntu once, when I went back and came back again, it defaulted to Amazon Linux. So that was the reason why it could not connect. Yeah, you can have just one key for all virtual machines for sure. I just created a new key just to show you the idea of using the key. Right now, there is no MCP tool or anything. Right now, this has got nothing to do with Claude Code. Although I have used Claude Code to help me with these steps, technically, I can just not use Claude Code and this is just connecting one computer to your remote cloud computer, right? That's it. This is nothing to do with Cloud Code. Everyone has been doing this for the last many years or decades. But right now the connection is set up. There is a minor warning about hosts. The file exists and permission look okay. Now what we need is now open the instance. Actually, if it is connected, it should show up here in the SSH command section. Let me just check. Remote. Connect to host. Add new host. And now how do I open it on my VS Code so that I can access the files on the remote instance? So whatever issues you guys are facing, different people will be facing different issues. It will be unique. So just keep pasting the issue. Somebody will already know the solution. All right. Okay, so now Cloud Code has given me the next steps, what to do. So new SSH host, and then just paste this command. So basically, you just ask Cloud Code, what is the next step, provided you have this key in the form of a PEM file. So then I just enter the command here, which Cloud Code has provided, and SSH config. So now I have been connected to the remote EC2 instance, which was just created. So the steps are very simple. Just have the PEM file in your working directory, then ask the Cloud Code to connect. All the other information that you need, Cloud Code itself will ask you. But there are more straightforward ways. If you already are familiar with using the commands, there are much more familiar ways to, easier ways to do this. So now this is my remote instance. It is getting opened up, setting up SSH host. It's taking a little bit of time. But meanwhile, now tell me, so far what I have done is the following. Let me go back to Miro. This is my computer. And this is AWS EC2. So here I install the following: Claude Code, CCO, this was already installed. Then the extension for remote SSH. Okay, so these three things are there on my computer, and I also managed to connect through SSH with the AWS EC2 instance. But do I have Claude Code on this yet? Not yet. I have to install it. Do I have CCO here? Not yet. So that I'm going to install. Do I have Openclaw here? Not yet. I don't have anything set up yet. Okay, so now we can do that. Now somebody was asking, can Cloud Code, if through SSH, if the connection is made with the AWS EC2 instance, can the Cloud Code which is installed on your computer, can it make changes over here? Can it control the files here? So we can see something like that. Okay, this is getting connected. Okay, I don't know why this is taking time. In the meanwhile, I'll use the other instance. I have another instance already running. So this is my other instance. Okay. So on this instance, which I had already set up, I ran the same commands which I got from the CCO's GitHub repo and the Claude Code landing page, which can be run on terminal to install Claude Code and to install CCO. So when I'm using this terminal, you can assume that the Claude Code is installed on my EC2 instance. CCO is also installed on my EC2 instance. Okay. And what you can do is, once you are connected to your instance, you will see your folder structure. So you can just see what is the present working directory. It's workflow demo. Then if you do cd ... you will go back. So this is the agents folder. If you again do cd ... you will again go back. And now these are all the folders existing on my EC2 instance now, in which I had created a folder called agents. This agents folder you can create. So now whenever you see this blue color SSH, understand that this is the instance. It's not my computer, what you're seeing. Right now, what you're seeing is the files from the, you're not seeing any file yet, but when you see, what you're seeing is the EC2 instance files. But this Visual Studio Code, where is it installed? Is it installed here or here? Can you tell me? VS Code is on my local machine. I just have VS Code on my local machine with remote SSH to connect to this, okay? So the VS Code that you are seeing is not on the AWS EC2 instance. Please understand that. So all of this, what you see, this VS Code, of course, it is on my machine. However, on the left panel, on the left panel, if you want to see any directory, just Control O and then set up the working directory. So if I search agents, I have a bunch of directories, which are like different agents that I had built. So see, these are all the different agents that I have been building. And then out of which one of the folders is this agents called agents. And then I think it was called workflow demo. So this is my working directory, and that working directory is fully empty, which is the reason why on the left-hand side, you don't see anything. If you create, you will see. So what are we trying to achieve in today's session? In today's session, we are trying to achieve setting up of a specific workflow so that you can communicate with your agent to build anything, even if you are sleeping. That is the agenda of today's session. And for that, you need Claude Code, you need a remote instance or a Mac Mini, anything. And then an ability to communicate with that through maybe your phone, right? So we first set up the EC2 instance. We connected the EC2 instance with our local machine. Now what we are going to do is we are going to install Openclaw. So now to install Openclaw, so my instance is this. I uninstalled Openclaw before starting this session, although I had it before, just to show you how to do it from scratch. So this is the Openclaw website, openclaw.ai. And so this is the command for Mac OS or Linux. So this you can directly use here if you are using Linux. So far on this remote, so I have two remotes, right? One is which is called Visuara, which was already created. One which I just created. So one which I just created, it was taking time to load. So I decided to just close it because a lot of things are open. I don't know why it's taking time to load, or my network is slow. I don't know what the issue is. So I just closed the instance which I just created and I opened the instance. So this 3.108.254.3 is the instance which I already had before this lecture even started. So I just connected to it. So on that, Claude Code and CCO were both installed. So right now, if we go back here, we are at the stage where Claude Code is there, CCO is there. Okay. So just ignore this. But on the new EC2 instance, I did not install it yet. But anyways, I don't have to show you how to install Claude Code and install CCO. It's just running one command. But I now the status, I have these two things. I don't have Openclaw yet. Openclaw, I just started installing, and then it will ask me for a few few questions, including API key, what model to use, etc. Oh, I think it defaulted to my previous settings. So let me just uninstall Openclaw once more. I just want to show you the default settings once, just so that your usage of Openclaw is very straightforward. So I'm just asking Cloud Code itself to remove whatever folders and preferences related to Openclaw that is there on this computer, because I want to start from scratch. Openclaw onboard again. Okay. So Openclaw onboard will ask me for my permissions. Is it Dishant? Will it ask me for my not permissions? Like, will it ask me for API key, and will it ask me for the which provider am I using, etc. Okay, fine. You could do that. So right now I'm just removing everything with respect to Openclaw, which was there on this computer from before, plus what I installed just now, so that I can do a fresh installation. All right, pretty much it is done. So now I'll reinstall Openclaw. And for that, I will go back to my terminal instead of running it in cloud. So /exit. Yeah. So right now I'm just about to install Openclaw. So open the terminal, just paste the command which you get from the Openclaw website. So this command I got from openclaw.ai. So just go to that website and it will give you the command. Just run it here. Okay, so now these are the defaults. Okay, I understand this is personal by default and share. So continue, yes. Then onboarding mode, quick start and manual. We can do quick start. Later things, if anything else is to be set up, we can do that later. Model/auth provider. Actually, here I will go with Google because I have Gemini API. I can use that. OpenAI is also there. Anything is fine, but let me go with Google for now. Then Google Gemini API, that is the auth method. Paste the API key now because I have the API key handy. This you can set up later also, but I hope that by now you have one of the API keys. So my API key is um, and I don't want Gemini 3.1 Pro preview because this is extremely expensive model. I don't want it at all. I would rather use Gemini 2.5 Flash or even 2.5 Flash Lite. But this is what I want to be my default model, because if you keep this current the default option, which is thrown by Openclaw for Gemini, it will be like in no time you will end up acquiring $9, $10 of bill. Then bot. Okay, so this is one thing which many of you might have questioned. You might have seen people connect Telegram to Openclaw. For Openclaw, OpenAI, which you're asking Dishant regarding the model. Model, it can be for GPT-4o mini or any model which is, so for now this is just for demonstration purpose. You can change the model later if you want. So anything which is less expensive, go with that. 4o mini or turbo, any option is fine. Don't go with the highest model. The next thing is Telegram. So the good thing about connecting with Telegram is that Telegram has a lot of inbuilt provisions to create bots. So it's a very nice platform, better than Slack or WhatsApp, to communicate with your EC2 instance. I mean, communicate with Openclaw and that thereby communicating with EC2 instance. So let's go with Telegram. I will show you the setup in a moment. Then how do you want to provide this Telegram bot token? Enter the Telegram bot token or use external secret provider. So here I can say enter Telegram bot token. Then what we want to do is in Telegram, we have to set up the bot. So in Openclaw, when you're trying to connect it with Telegram, you have to first have a bot in Telegram. So what you need to do is open Telegram. You should have an account. You have to create it with your phone number. I think email is not needed, just phone number. And then you can search here for bot father. Then this will show up. So this is the official bot father account. And here you can type like /new bot. So I know that I'm going a little bit fast. There are a few commands, but if I will repeat it, if you want me to say that again, otherwise I'll be waiting for everyone to finish and the lecture will go on for 5 hours. But the command is just /new bot in bot father. So first you will have to connect your connect your phone number with Telegram so that you can have a Telegram account. Telegram can be operated, the good thing is, on phone, on the app, as well as on your desktop. So this, on Chrome. So you will, I think, for you to connect Telegram with your computer, you will have to first install the app, if I'm not wrong. Then Telegram is asking, all right, a new bot, how are we going to call it? Please choose a name for your bot. So here I can call it as test claw or something. Maybe it will have to end with bot. Okay, so test claw bot. Oh, this is already taken. So Sreedath test claw bot. Then it'll give me an access token. Just copy that and paste that access token over here. And of course, I'll be destroying this later. Then search provider, for structured result, I can go with Gemini and Google search instead of Brave search. So we are now continuing with the rest of the configurations of Openclaw. Then Gemini API key for search. For this, I can use the same API key which I used before. So configure skills now. I can configure the skills later. So I'm just going with no. Enable hooks. This also I will skip this, and this can be done later. Maybe session memory I can enable. So to enable it, just select it and press spacebar key. Command logger, bootstrap extra file, boot md. Sure, maybe I can do boot md also. Skip for now. Actually, I entirely skipped it. That's what that's what it happened. So search is, I think, when there is search. So Brave Search, I know that Brave Search API helps us find results similar to Google Search. I just don't know why they don't simply say Google Search. Why we are asked to provide Gemini API key? I'm not 100% sure. Okay, now here is the other important thing. Okay, so this step is very important. How do you want to hatch your bot? So this is like, how would you want to control it? So although they are recommending it in terminal UI, I prefer the web UI. So this web UI is much better. I will show you how it works. So just go with this, open the web UI option. Onboarding complete, use the dashboard link about to control Openclaw. So now the Openclaw setup process is complete. Now what we can do is, if you want to open Openclaw, you can just type Openclaw space dashboard. And then it will throw a localhost link, okay, with the access token. And when you click it, it will open the Openclaw chat dashboard, chat plus many other configurations. It will show you everything. So let me just go to bright mode so that you can see better. So now here I don't have the, I don't think the Telegram bot is set up yet. Let me just check. So I just created a bot called Sreedath Test Claw bot, right? So to communicate with it, you just need to search Test Claw bot. I did not include any skills actually. I went with default. Then no message. So this is my test bot which I just created. So I need to start communicating with the bot. The bot setup is not yet done. So Openclaw access not configured. So the bot is still not connected with Openclaw. So ask the bot owner to approve with Openclaw pairing approve Telegram. So I can just copy this, then go back to terminal and then run it. So this will pair the Telegram bot with my Openclaw on the remote EC2 instance. So approve Telegram sender this. So now Telegram should be connected to Openclaw. So let me just check this. Are you now connected? I just came online. Who am I? Who are you? So now the connection is fully done. So now where we are at is the following. We installed, we had AWS EC2. Then we installed Openclaw on that. Then we installed Telegram. We connected Telegram. Yeah, I will show once again. Yes. I'll just repeat what I just did once more. Okay. How do you use the key to connect to the virtual machine? Yes. So I'll go one or few steps behind. So the key was here on Visual Studio Code. This is my working directory. I just pasted the pem.pem file here. Okay. And then I opened Claude Code and I asked Claude Code itself to perform the connection. To help with the connection in the later part of the step, also install this extension called remote SSH. So just install remote SSH. Then after that, ask Claude Code to look for the key, .pem file in the working directory, and now connect to SSH. Then while connecting to SSH, it may ask you for what operating system you have on your EC2 instance or whatever virtual machine you are using. It will probably ask you for its name, whatever information is needed. You go to the dashboard of AWS or whichever one you are using, copy and paste provide the information to Claude Code. And then finally, Claude Code will provide you a command like this, SSH-I users, this. And then that you can run over here in the search bar, click show and run commands. Then if you have already installed the remote SSH extension, you will see this option, remote SSH connect to host. Then add a new SSH host. and then just paste the command which Claude Code has provided here, and then connection will automatically happen. Then after that, what I did is on the EC2 instance, I installed Claude Code, I installed CCO, then I installed Openclaw. In Openclaw, in the preferences, one of the most important preferences is the last one, where instead of going with the terminal user interface, I went with the web user interface. So web user interface will open something like this. So this is now web user interface through which I can talk to my Openclaw, which is installed on the EC2 instance. Okay. And to open it, I just ran the command Openclaw space dashboard. So if you run this, it will show you the link with the access token. So just click this link with the access token, then it should automatically open. So for those of you who are struggling with this, just go like type Openclaw space dashboard on terminal, and then how come localhost is working? Because I think it's because of the access token. If you did not provide the access token, if you just went to this localhost, it will not work probably. But yeah, how to install Openclaw inside VS Code. So Openclaw, we are not installing on VS Code. Openclaw, we are installing, I mean, we have VS Code open, but Openclaw, we are installing from using this command. Go to Openclaw website, copy this command, paste it in terminal, and then it will install Openclaw automatically. I used Gemini, Google search with Gemini as the search provider. Then what else? Yeah, Telegram. So now Telegram, this is how it is done. So you have to first install Telegram on your computer or your mobile app. Then in Telegram, first you have to create a bot. The bot creation channel for Telegram is called Bot Father. So first you have to search for Bot Father. Don't mistake the spelling, B-O-T, capital F, T-H-E-R, F-A-T-H-E-R. So search on the search bar for Bot Father. You don't have to have Telegram on your computer. You can have it on your mobile phone also. There also you search for Bot Father. And inside Bot Father, search, type /new bot. Then it will ask you for a bot name. There you have to type something which ends with bot. So here I typed it as Sreedath test bot or something. So I just typed this name. Telegram says Openclaw access not configured. Yeah, correct. So I'll come to that. So once your test bot is ready, so if Sreedath test bot is your test bot name, just copy that and search for that here. And then once that appears, this is my test bot now. It's called Sreedath test bot, or it's, I think alternate name is test claw. It will say Openclaw access not configured, right? So from this message, look at the last line, Openclaw pairing approved Telegram with some code. Copy that last line, go back to your instance, remote EC2 instance, find your terminal, paste it there and run it. Then Openclaw will be connected with Telegram. So then if you just ask, are you connected? Hi, I just came online. Who are you? Who am I? Who are you? And then here you can just search. You can just ask for anything like, okay, first let me set up some things. You are my assistant called maybe Viz. I am Sreedath. To install Claude Code is fairly straightforward. Go to Claude Code website. You will find the installation command. Just copy this and paste it on terminal, VS Code terminal. Then okay, so now let's go back to our Telegram. I have not used open models. Yeah, that's something which I want to try. Yeah. All right. So I'm Viz, your assistant. Good to meet you. Help me understand myself better. How can I best assist you? Could you tell me a bit about my vibe? Then I will say, you are my assist. You will help me to control Claude Code for building. You will never build anything directly, but you will act as the orchestrator. So this same now to communicate with my EC2 instance, I hope you understand what the beauty of this is. The beauty of this is I have the same Telegram app on my mobile phone. Let me just open it. See, I have the same Telegram app on my on my phone, and I can literally now control my EC2 instance over here, right? How did you open dashboard on local browser? Just type Openclaw space dashboard, and the one with access token, the link with access token will show up. Just click the one with access token. Just the local host. This I don't think it will work. You need the access token. Now let me do one more thing. Let's go to Openclaw. Okay, so same chat we can make here also. If I refresh. So here you will see two things in this. The main is this using Openclaw using Chrome GUI. This Telegram is the other channel. This channel is the channel of my communication with Openclaw through Telegram, right? So here it is on the main. And here you can see in overview, what is the cost so far? See, so far my cost has been $0.03. 95K tokens have been consumed. So let me chat and ask a few things. Instead of Telegram, I'll go with the main channel. Tell me what is your default model. Openclaw dashboard command I ran on my remote. So now I'm not touching my local VS Code. I'm only running it in EC2 instance. Everything is now in the EC2 instance. So my default model is Gemini 2.5 Flash. Can you tell me the cost? Yeah, can I directly provide instructions from Openclaw dashboard as well? When you say Openclaw dashboard, you mean this one? Is this the Openclaw dashboard? Yeah. Can anyone, if you know the solution, can you help Satyajit with where he is stuck at? I'll appreciate it, because if I pause it right now, I will have to come back to this all over again. But yeah, so basically this is there are actually three ways in which you can communicate with Openclaw. One is from this terminal itself. Here you can type Openclaw space. It has bunch of commands, so you can follow that. But that is not very straightforward, right? That is very difficult. The other thing is you can run it on, if you are sitting in front of your computer and if you want to operate Openclaw, the best thing to do is try the Chrome GUI. That is the second best thing. I mean, second best thing. The first best thing, if you are completely away from your computer, if you don't want to open your laptop, you are about to sleep, and you want to give some commands to Openclaw, the best thing is Telegram app on your phone, right? So that is the beauty of this. Now, let me ask Openclaw a question. Okay, first of all, can you tell me the cost per 100K tokens? So it will show you the real-time token consumption. It's very, very expensive actually. See, such simple questions are costing so many tokens. I cannot provide directly. I recommend checking. No, you can provide the approximate cost. So you see this token count, just keep track of it. Okay. So even for simple questions, I'm encountering a lot of token cost. So from 11.3K, this simple search cost me around 1,000 tokens. So 1,000 tokens is, 1/100th of $0.03. So my cost for asking this question was 0. And there are some output tokens also. So probably it would be on the order of somewhere between $0.02 and $0.0003. My cost was somewhere between that for my just this one question. Then now what we can do is ask it one more question. I want to start a process and not sit in front of computer. Can you control Claude Code, and can I switch off my laptop and go away? So basically, this I know it works, but I'm just asking Openclaw itself to give me an answer. Basically, this is the issue, right? I have my computer remote EC2 instances somewhere else, and I want to be able to switch off my laptop and go away. And if there is anything, I want Openclaw to be able to communicate with me through Telegram. And here it can definitely allow me to do that. Now, for those of you who are really concerned with Openclaw, yeah, are these tokens built to Gemini account? Did you provide login or provide? I provided the API key. It is, yes, it is charged with the Gemini API. So here you can see the overview. The charge so far which I incurred is $0.064 for just this, whatever I asked so far. And that is because of Gemini. I'm using Gemini 2.5 Flash. If this was Gemini 3.0 Pro, this would have been like $2 or something, because it's like so expensive. Now, one more thing. What if you don't want to use Openclaw? You still want to, you don't want to control anything remotely, but this is your requirement. You want to run some building session, let's say auto research by Andre Karpathy or something, which will automatically perform everything. So when I recently ran the auto research, I did not use Openclaw. So let's say you want to run something continuously on Claude Code by providing the instruction that unless I explicitly ask you to stop, don't stop. Now the problem is this you are running on your EC2 instance. And the moment you disconnect your terminal, this process stops, right? And let's say you are not comfortable installing Openclaw. Then what is the solution? The solution is something called tmux, or terminal multiplexer. So tmux, I'll show you how to use that. So all you need to do is, let me search what is the tmux activate command. Tmux command in Linux. Yeah. So my question is, let's say you are not comfortable using Openclaw, and you don't care about controlling what your code is doing from Telegram or something, but all you care about is the Claude code should continue building even when you go to sleep. So if you are building a very complex website and you have given detailed instructions in your markdown files, okay, or if you are running auto research, you have instructed Claude code to keep on running continuously and never stop. What is the solution? Either you run a Mac Mini and don't switch it off. You keep it in your office or wherever, and then you go home and sleep. That is one solution. But that you are relying on power outage, or not having power outage and stuff like that. But it will run. It will keep on running unless you switch it off. On a EC2 instance, right? Right now you are connected through SSH. The terminal is active. But when you close that, if by accident the terminal session got disconnected, whatever you are executing will be gone. The Claude code will stop, and then you will have to come back and you will have to run it again. So what you can do is you can use something called tmux. So tmux stands for terminal multiplexer, and it's a very simple one-line command. I'll just show you how to do that. Yeah. So tmux. So recently, when I was running my auto research, so this is what I wanted. I wanted to work on a research problem statement on vision language action models. All right. And I asked Andre Karpathy's auto research kind of workflow. I asked it to execute a workflow like this. And all of this was done by Claude Code. Now, the problem was I did not want this to stop. I wanted it to be completely non-stop running for 48 hours during the weekend when I'm not sitting in my computer and working. So what I did was I first ran this in a tmux terminal multiplexer session, which I will show you in a moment how to do. Then I asked Claude Code. I connected the Claude Code to my GitHub. This also you can easily do by constructing a GitHub access token from GitHub. That access token you can give to Claude Code, and Claude Code can continuously push to GitHub. Then all I need to do is from my phone, just once in a while, check my GitHub repo to see what are the latest changes that are being pushed, or if it is even working. I can see that it's working if it is like if the latest push thing was 2 minutes ago or 5 minutes ago. I know that in the weekend, if something is pushed 5 minutes ago, this tmux session is keeping on running, right? So this is how I was tracking. Here, I did not use Openclaw. Openclaw also can be used. That way, you can even actively give changes. You can tell through Telegram that, hey, what you're doing currently is not correct. You have to stop doing it and do something else. But here I'm talking about if you don't want to use Openclaw, what is the cleaner solution? The cleaner solution is this. So now the tmux command is tmux new -s session name. So what you need to do is go to your terminal on your remote EC2 instance, type tmux new -s, and let's say the session name is demo_session. Then this will start a new session, and you see this green color bar underneath. It means this session will be active even if I close my terminal. So if I delete this, okay, now my terminal is closed. And then when I open it, I can get that session back by typing tmux attach, I think, and then demo session. What was the name? I forgot. Okay, not demo session. Tmux attach -t session name. And list all session is tmux ls. So let me just first find my session name. So tmux ls. So there are actually one session running, which is demo session, and then another session running that is called VLA. So this VLA was my previous session where I was running that I have not killed yet. So basically what we are doing now is the same terminal, we are splitting into two different terminals. So one terminal has the name demo session, another terminal has the name VLA. So if I go to VLA, it will be an active terminal, which will be continuously, if I have asked it to continuously run something, it will be continuously running it. But now I'll go to this demo session. So tmux attach -t demo_session. So now see, I'm back into my session. Now let's try something. All of this tmux I'm doing on EC2. Yes, exactly. So now we are not doing anything on VS Code on our computer. Everything is on EC2. And why is that? Because our whole idea is this. We want to set up a workflow where something will happen even when you are sleeping. Let's say you want to build a complex website. It'll be great, so great that by the time you wake up in the morning, something is ready for you, right? That way you are sleeping, but at the same time working. So that is the goal here. So for that to happen, something has to run on a computer which never switches off. You have two options, Mac Mini, something like that, or buying a virtual machine like EC2. Now in EC2, when you are having a terminal, accidentally when you close it, your activity might stop. So to not have that happen, you can use the tmux. That is one way. So terminal multiplexer, or you can use Openclaw itself. Openclaw can manage the terminal session without making it close, right? So this tmux, let me now go back to Openclaw. In Openclaw, now I'm going to give a command. I want to build a very simple personal portfolio website for me. And but I don't want you to build. Instead, instruct Claude Code to do the execution. Otherwise, what will happen is I will incur a lot of charge on my Gemini. I have already paid for Claude Code, so Claude Code should take the most responsibility. But there is a limit to number of tokens that can be consumed in a day. Yes, that is a very good question, Saurav. I was also concerned with the same thing when I was running my code. I thought it will consume my tokens and it will stop the execution. But you know why it did not stop? because Claude Code was writing the code, but the code was actually run on runpod. Because runpod has GPU, I need GPU access to run my code fast. So as long as runpod credits are not run out, so I had put some $100 or something on runpod. So runpod credits were not running out, and because of that, my code was continuously running. The only thing Claude Code was doing was writing the code, which is not that expensive, right? If you to write one single Python file, which is defining a neural network architecture, that's fine. That it can do. But to execute it and do more complex stuff, you need not more complex stuff, more complex calculations on GPU. You rely on runpod. Why execution will consume tokens? Execution on runpod will not consume token, but writing the code itself will consume tokens. Okay, Sriharsha is saying ACP runtime is not set, so it can't use Claude Code. When you say it, what do you mean? Your Openclaw cannot control Claude Code. Is that what you're saying? It's a bit weird. I'm not sure. Can you ask this issue to? It's not configured on the system. Can you ask Claude Code itself to fix this? That's the best solution. I mean, it will figure it out. Okay. Anyways, let me. I will give you a few info. Refer to my past website. This is old and poorly formatted. So I have a portfolio website which I built a few years ago, very bad, using Google Sites. So I'll just paste this here. Then refer to LinkedIn. I'll just provide my LinkedIn link. Yeah, I can provide the same instructions via Telegram also for sure. So this is my LinkedIn. And then third thing which I will provide is Google Scholar. Make it a simple, static, modern website and host it or deploy it on Vercel. So now we'll have to give you access to Vercel, access of Vercel to Cloud Code, which I will do later. Deploy on Vercel later. So now this is the command. Let's see if I also face the issue. Openclaw access not configured, Telegram user ID. Yeah. So for Dishant, what you need to do is look at the last line. Openclaw pairing approved Telegram with that LHXXX, that thing, right? Just copy that, copy this thing and run it on terminal. I'm just pasting it. So this thing which I have pasted, just run that on your terminal. Then Openclaw will be connected to Telegram. So now what is happening is, now I have not started a tmux explicitly, terminal multiplexer I have not started. However, now my Openclaw will control the cloud code on my remote EC2 instance. And now this website building would have started, I presume. We'll see that. So now what can I do? Technically, I can just close the computer and go home. And to know the status, I can just open my Telegram app and just ask is, tell me, what are you building now? So I can just ask Telegram on my phone or on computer. Let me know what you would like to work on. Okay, I don't think the Telegram has yet. I mean, this part is a little bit slow, but let's see. Openclaw will also use CCO command or Claude command to start Claude Code. That is a good question. I don't think Openclaw will use CCO, and because CCO is something that we are doing, right? Openclaw will directly open Claude and run, and it will keep giving permission. So Openclaw is like your agent, right? It's a replacement of you. So just like how you will provide permissions to Claude Code, Openclaw will do the same. Look at your current process. So one annoying thing I don't like on this Telegram on desktop is it doesn't show me anything that something is being worked on. Okay, let me just check what's the deal. Right now, my Telegram is saying nothing is happening, but something is definitely happening, right? Let me say process running in the background. So you are free to switch off your laptop and go about your day. I will notify you once Claude Code has finished building the website. So let me ask, I don't know why this is hallucinating. I had asked to build a portfolio website via um, browser GUI or browser gateway. So everything, whatever we are asking in Telegram, we can also ask in the chatbot in Chrome. The thing is, the Chrome session, you will need access token and it's a local host session. But Telegram is like an app, so you can technically see that on your mobile phone, right? So see, now if I close my laptop after the Zoom call is over, I close my laptop, it will still be running. And to know the status, I just need to talk to my EC2 instance, which is executing, on which Claude Code is building, which Openclaw is controlling, to which I am talking through Telegram on my phone. So basically the workflow is this. Uh, I have Telegram. This is for my communication with Openclaw. I have Openclaw as an orchestrator for Claude Code. And Claude Code is installed on my EC2. Right? So I will use this if I want communication from me to whatever the process is happening. This is the workflow. But let's say I don't want anything to communicate. I just want the status update once in a while. Then the workflow can be, let the Claude Code control the, sorry, my Wacom tablet is having some issue. That's why my handwriting is coming so bad. Not that it's great, but yeah. So Claude Code is running on EC2 and I can just run tmux session, and whatever the project is, connect it with GitHub. So then I can see on GitHub what are the latest changes that have been pushed. So just by looking at GitHub, I'll see the status. But I won't be able to communicate. If I want to communicate, I'll have to open my laptop, open the tmux session, and then instruct the Claude Code. But if I want two-way communication where I want to see the updates, plus also tell Claude Code something to do, this is the better workflow. Connect Openclaw with Telegram, ask Openclaw to execute the workflow using Claude Code, let Claude Code handle the heavyweight. Openclaw will be using Gemini. This will consume some tokens because orchestrator will also require some tokens, but this will be minimum. Your maximum expense will be on Claude Code, but this anyway you are spending on a monthly basis. So it's not like, unless you explicitly recharge for another $50 or something, you will not be charged extra. So this way you minimize your expenses. Can you also let Openclaw to keep updating you about the progress? Absolutely. So what you can also do is, you can say update once in 5 minutes or something, or you can say, tell me the latest status update. No work has begun. I'm waiting for your instruction. What do you mean? How does it know about your background to build your website? I had given 3 links. I had given my LinkedIn profile and one of my old personal portfolio website links, this one. Plus, I also gave my Google Scholar. So I'm hoping that with those 3 things, it will find information. Even in the absence of all of that, it will do something. Oh, so some error had happened. My apologies on the previous error. I have reinitiated Claude Code. Okay, so maybe something was paused or something. Okay, anyways. Tell me your plan and the stat plan, milestones, and periodic progress. Also, send the same to my Telegram app. And meanwhile, let's check the usage. $0.142, not too bad. And unexpected, also send me the same too. Limitations with session spawn mode equal to session. First, I received the session requiring ACP. Okay, I'm also receiving the same error, I think. Thread bindings are unavailable. Okay, let me do one thing. Can ask send the status to another person via Telegram? Great question. I think so. I mean, technically we can instruct a Telegram bot to send message to another person, right? So by that logic, I think it should be possible. I have not tried it. Great question, but I think it's possible. I don't see why it is difficult. Okay. Okay, this is the third time it's saying I have restarted, but let's see. This usually works, but I have no idea what's going on right now. My Openclaw was perfectly set up earlier, but now because I reinstalled it, I think some issue might have happened. When operated via Telegram after instructing Claude, does Openclaw receive back the response from Claude Code and report on Telegram, or just trigger the run and forget? You mean, is there a communication? Is there some way in which Openclaw can get something explicitly from Claude Code? I don't think Claude Code directly communicates with Openclaw. It's more like just by looking at the changes happening in the folder structure and what the Claude Code is performing, just like our human knows what the Claude Code is performing, Openclaw can tell you what is happening. But it's not like Claude Code is explicitly communicating, hey, I am doing this to Openclaw. I'm not sure that can happen if we explicitly set it up, but by default, I don't think it's happening. And here, please understand, Telegram bot and this GUI, which you are currently seeing on Chrome, they are literally the two gateways to communicate with Openclaw. The third gateway sort of is the terminal itself. For terminal itself, you can run commands, but that is very difficult. So that's the reason why the gateway can be anything. It can be WhatsApp, it can be Slack or Discord or Telegram, any app. But Telegram has this very nice, easy way of creating the bot. That's the reason why I went with Telegram. But you can do this for pretty much any app. There is great connectivity with multiple apps. Please provide session key for your Telegram account. If Claude Code is waiting for any feedback, does Openclaw handle this? Yes, absolutely. That's the whole reason. So I think even if you did not install CCO, Openclaw can handle the feedback providing process, because Openclaw is just like a human agent. It knows your preferences. It will act on behalf of you. Session key for your Telegram account. Where can I get session key? In the Openclaw gateways configuration or status page. Let's see. I don't need it directly here. I can directly ask here. So now look at the process that is happening. I'll show you one more thing. On Telegram, on my computer, I have a folder called AI Context Engineering Bootcamp. From that, from the day one session, can you share the first figure which I had created as part of the session one notes? You can send me the PNG here directly. So I'm just asking a random thing, right? So on my computer, there is a very specific folder in which there is something. I'm giving vague instructions here. This is probably not the exact exact folder name, but I understand you are looking for specific figure. However, I cannot directly access files on your computer. My environment is sandboxed. I only have access to your workspace. Oh, really? Um, I wanted to have access to my. It is in the folder called agents. Maybe that is the issue. Maybe this is in a sandbox environment. So let me open a new terminal and another Claude Code session, and I will ask it to fix this issue. Give Openclaw full access to my EC2 to fix the below issue. The lecture videos and stuff upload after session. No, I I have an automatic pipeline for it using MCP, but it's not fully set up yet. So that I have to manually upload. I had constructed a MCP server for the Firebase database where all the website data is stored. And technically, yes, to even create a course, modify a course, upload something, download something, I can use the MCP. But this time I did not use it because I noticed that some function which I had written are having some issues. Not I did not write it, Cloud Code wrote it, but there are some issues which is not giving me the exact output that I'm expecting. So that I need to fix once. But that we can fix. So by the way, for the build session, what I'm planning is to build an email chat. So everyone should be able to build that email AI chat with me. So for that, one thing is just try to understand. Can you guys tell me in the chat like how often, like how many times in a day you might be replying to someone on email? Like roughly, is it 10? Is it 5 or 3, 1 or 100? Okay. So on the order of, let's say 10 maximum, right? 10, 20-ish. Okay. I'm sure someone else might be doing it many more number of times. So I personally, I have at least 200 emails at any given point to reply. So I do need a proper chatbot. So one thing that we will build is um, we will figure out how to create a vector database of your past email responses and how to craft a response very much like you and how to set it up, how to set up that pipeline. You probably won't need it now if you have only 1, 2, 3 emails to reply to, but when you have 200 emails, you will not be operating it like that. Um, so I'll just show you that, but that same pipeline can be extended to pretty much any tool. Instead of email, if you want to extend it to Slack or something like that, that same pipeline can be set up. But anyways, let me see what Cloud Code is trying to do here. Okay, now restart Openclaw gateway so that the change takes effect. So, okay, how do we ensure our email info is not exposed to OpenAI or Gemini? Do we have to run local LLM? That is a good question. So email info will definitely be exposed to whichever LLM we are using, right? So if we use OpenAI or Gemini, we are giving it access to that particular email thread. So it will, so otherwise the other option is um, you can have an LLM set up on your own cloud server. And yeah, if it is Gmail, then Gmail and Gemini, not a problem. If you're using Gemini and then if you're also using Gmail anyway, they have the information with you. But if your email provider is like Outlook web app or something like that, and you want to use Gemini, yeah, that's when you might need on the cloud something. Okay, gateway has been restarted and healthy. Openclaw has now access to entire home directory. Okay, now let's see. Now I have provided you the full access. Please try now. So see here, the context of this full conversation is available to Openclaw. So I operate within a remote sandboxed. What is this? So this is one process which we are doing on the side, okay? But meanwhile, Openclaw is definitely continuing with the building. This is just to show you one use case where I can show you how even the Telegram can fetch files from your remote. I just want to show you that. That's my purpose. But let me see where the current process is at. So tell me the status of website building. Because we started Claude Code with CCO. So when I, sincere apologies for previous failures, created the website directory, restarted Claude Code. I think my Openclaw is not able to probably access Claude Code because of the restricted environment, but let's see. I think this issue some of you might have been facing, right? Just let me know if you managed to connect Claude Code and Openclaw and get something to work yet. This can be fixed very soon, I hope. What is the path to this directory? Can we directly use Openclaw without paying? Yeah, I mean, Openclaw is free. It's open source, but you will need some API, some LLM. The LLM can be open source LLM. So if you have access to an LLM where you don't have to pay, of course, you can set it up. So you're not paying anything to Openclaw. Right now, I'm paying because I'm using Gemini. Home Ubuntu portfolio website. So this is the directory now. So this is the directory in which Openclaw has asked Claude Code to build. But I just want to verify that, in fact, something is getting built, because if something is getting built, we will see the files here, right? But I doubt something is happening here yet. Yeah. So use Openclaw if you want an agentic personal agent for doing your task, and use any open source LLM. That will be a best workflow. Okay, so I don't see anything happening here, which means I think Openclaw is still failing to connect with this particular either outside the sandbox environment. So let me just see. So let me ask Claude Code, can Openclaw access this folder? So today, as soon as the portfolio website is kind of working, I think we can wrap up today's lecture. So roughly half an hour probably will be remaining. As soon as I can show you the workflow where Openclaw has connected with Claude Code and something is getting built. And building part will be very fast because this is a static website. It's not a dynamic website. So that part will be very fast. Yes, I wanted to cover skills as well, but I realized that this part is taking too much time. What I will do is I will record a separate video on skills and /commands, and then I will post it on the course dashboard. That part is anyway very easy. It won't take any too much effort, but it will take some time to go through it. Openclaw can access this heads up config expose secrets. That is fine for now. I'll delete it anyways. Now let me just close this and start a new Openclaw gateway. Now, can you ask Claude Code to start building the website in this directory? First, check the connection to Claude Code. If it is not working, let me know that first. Okay, one thing I have noticed is Openclaw is definitely hallucinating when it says it has reinitiated the Claude session, but then it's not notifying me when there is an issue. It's making me wait and ask whether something is running or not. And I don't see any files or anything in this, in this folder yet, which makes me think the process is somehow not getting started. How to see the session progress? Okay, now something is getting built. So seems like it's working. So some CSS, JavaScript assets. So assets are probably scraped from the website, right? Now, meanwhile, while this is going on, let us do one more thing. Let's go to Vercel. For deployment. Vercel access token. So the way in which you can connect pretty much any application like Railway for backend or Supabase when you are having something on your database, which we will be using on this Saturday's lecture, or so you can connect GitHub for pushing your versions, then Vercel for pure frontend, Railway if there is a backend. Of course, there are many other platforms. I'm just saying the default easy ones. Supabase for a very basic database. If you want to quickly build, by default these agents default to Supabase. So all of these you can easily connect using creating its own access tokens. So that access token creation process is different for different platforms. Process meaning you just go to a particular location on your account and it will provide you provision to create access token either at a project level or at a user account level. Okay. And then once the access token is there, automatically Claude Code can keep pushing to GitHub or keep pushing to deploying on Vercel. How does Claude on EC2 get information from LinkedIn or Scholar unless it's authenticated? I mean, the LinkedIn profile itself is public, so I think it can get access. Scholar is also, it's like a public link. It's not like you have to log in or something. But if we ask it to get some data about something where an authentication layer is there, then I don't think it will work. But in general, what I have noticed is for social media, scraping from LinkedIn is very hard. Scraping from Reddit is the easiest because they provide API. So I think that's also one of the reasons why many LLMs have been trained a lot on Reddit data. As a social media, they make the scraping part very easy. But yeah, I think LinkedIn, I hope it can find some information from LinkedIn from the public profile. Let's see. Okay, index.html. So some things are working. And now if I ask the Telegram to find my image, can you try now? So Railway is a very nice backend deployment. So when we implemented the YouTube MCP last time, that MCP server was running on Railway. You guys remember we fetched the YouTube URL. From that, we found the transcript. From transcript, we created the lecture notes or summary. There, a Python script was running, and that script was basically um, running on the Railway backend. LinkedIn personal info. I mean, LinkedIn, all the personal info, whatever I have in public, I don't care if Claude Code gets access to it because that's the whole reason. It's a public profile. But yeah, if there is something private which I don't want Claude Code to get access to, that's where you just simply don't give it authentication. Okay, for example, if it is in, however, I don't see a folder named. Can you list the folders inside the agents folder? Okay, I see. Okay, so now it has found the folder. Yes, this is the one. It's so stupid. It's not able to get the result in one shot. How many times should I give? It's not that smart actually. You can see that. I think what is missing right now is I have not given any background information, anything, right? So maybe that's why. Yeah. Gemini 2.5. I'm trying to save cost and I'm expecting world-class performance. Uh, Sreedath, I have located. No, I need the PNG file. And meanwhile, let us check on our website task. Give me a status update. Session completed. Okay. Can you local host or let us deploy on Vercel? Index.html. Here's the plan. Install Vercel CLI. Log into Vercel. All right. So I can just run this. So yeah, either it can be through access token or just install Vercel here and then log into Vercel. Yeah. If you are not using Openclaw or anything, if you're just using Claude Code, the best thing to do is for simple tasks, switch to a cheaper model. Okay, now this is done. Now we just need to do login. Okay, so Vercel authentication is done. So this time, instead of creating the access token, I use this command line interface. And now I can go to CCO, deploy this website on Vercel. Yeah, so using cheaper model is basically switching the model. If you're using a coding agent, I'll just show you, once this is done, I'll show you how to switch. Very easy. On Openclaw also, you can assign pretty much any model. You can give that instruction in the text itself. But let's see first if this Vercel thing, once it is done, I just want to show you the website. I have no idea because my instructions were very crude. I have no idea what it has built so far. Okay, so this is the link. And eliminate the need for Vercel authentication to see the website. I don't like this so much because, I mean, these things are fine, details are correct, but I don't see a single image that are used here. I don't think the Claude Code has very nicely fetched images. Yeah, not a great website, but this is what I deserve because of the very poor instructions I gave just to save time. But with proper instructions, but you can already see that the structure is 10 times better than what Google Sites had provided, right? So it's very nicely. Yeah, so today's content is different. So in the production patterns, what I plan to cover, JIT, I realized that we have already discussed in lecture number 4 or 5. So JIT, I entirely decided to skip. The only thing which I planned to cover from PRP workflow was setting up the workflow with initial.md files, setting up it with slash commands and slash skills. So that I will record a separate video. But I thought this will be much more useful to you when you go ahead and build something. So yes, session 7, some things have changed. But you see the value of this in the sense that this website is entirely done using Openclaw plus Claude Code workflow. And let's see if in Telegram, this guy has been able to access any PNG yet or not. It's still finding it very difficult to find the .png files. There are clearly PNG files in the folder. You can also instruct Claude Code to create using Gemini thumbnails. It knows how to use NanoBanana. Yeah, of course it can. How many of you have heard of this one, Auto Research Claw? It's a recent GitHub repo that just came out. Not the auto research from Andre Karpathy, but another one. It's from, I think, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. And this is kind of getting popular. Yeah, it's in this lab only. So just have a look at, oh my God. So yesterday, you know how many stars this had? Only 1.8K stars. So in one day, it has gathered almost 3K stars. Basically, this repo is amazing. Whatever idea you have, you can just describe it in few lines and it will run an end-to-end pipeline of running the experiments and even writing the paper. It's crazy where the direction of research is going, in the sense like there is a lot of debate also happening in the research community. One thing which today morning only I read on LinkedIn is that if let's say you are reviewing for a journal or conference, and let's say you are using an AI tool to create a review, automatically, if you as a reviewer, you will be flagged, and if you submit something, your thing will be auto rejected, desk rejected. But then the discussion that was going on was, if the review comments are actually good, if it is actually relevant, useful comments, why do you care if it came from a human or whether it came from AI? Same dialogue is happening when some conferences and some journals allow AI based submissions. So there the question is, if the paper is entirely written by AI, experiments are entirely done, the code is entirely written by AI, and the execution is done by AI. The figures are created using paper banana or nano banana. Then what is the role of human in other than setting up the hypothesis and other than giving the initial instructions and kind of overseeing the workflow? And if that is the case, what is the value of the paper? Then the other side of the debate is, if whatever is presented in the paper is legit, if a new hypothesis is formed and if it is tested and if the scientific methodology is correct, should you as a journal or should you as a conference organizer, should you care whether the paper came as a result of AI's experiments or whether it came out as a result of humans experiment? Because for science only cares about knowledge. Whether it came from an experiment executed by AI or by humans should not matter. So it's like a very hot subject of debate these days. And there are professors on both sides of the debate. But yeah, just check this website. I mean, this GitHub repo once. I think some of you at least might, find it useful. So my Telegram is kind of failing, probably because my model is very weak. It's not that smart to look at the entire context of my workflow, my folder working directory. But let me go back, and here now I can give whatever instructions, right? I can say the style looks very old. You have not added any images from the sources I provided. And then I can just continue to ask. And if I run this on tmux, so right now I'm not using Openclaw. I'm just using directly, I'm putting it in terminal. But if I use tmux and if I give proper instructions with so here, we have violated every single principles if we were discussing throughout the course. Claude.md, where is Claude.md? Where is .claude folder? Where are skill.md? Where is agents.md? Nothing is there because we did not explicitly say any of that to my Openclaw. Openclaw just executed the task in the most crude way. And for that reason, you can already see that it's not very good. Build examples of good portfolio website, which you think you want to mimic. Then what all sections should be there? What framework should you use? React.js, Next.js, or something else? So that we can, we'll have to set up in Claude.md file or some other markdown files using which you can create the Claude.md file. So yeah, just to reiterate on the plan. So I deliberately changed the plan for session 7 because I realized that for session 8, when we are building, we'll be directly building. We'll not be spending 2 hours on setting up the workflow. So to set up the workflow, we had to spend some proper amount of time. So by today's lecture, you should have the workflow ready so that by Saturday you can build. Now, few things which I wanted to cover today, which I will not be covering because of lack of time, is setting up / commands. That part is easy to do, but I will need some time to teach it. So I will create a recorded video and I'll put it so that it's available to all of you. Second thing is skill.md, how to set it up. And at the beginning, what does a template of a Claude.md, what does a template of a initial.md, etc. look like? For Saturday, we won't need it. The reason is on Saturday, our focus primarily will be on some other things. To create proper MD files, we'll be asking Claude Code itself to do it. And I'll show you how good it looks. But on Saturday, we'll be using the following. We'll be using memory, RAG. We will be creating proper system prompts. And then we'll be using Railway, I think most likely for backend. Vercel, we'll be using Supabase for database. Then we will be using Gmail authentication because if you want to connect your AI reply agent, I mean, it will be a separate website, whatever you build, but it has to have information from Gmail. So connecting with Gmail, then what else? Feedback system. When you are giving feedback to your application or to your email reply agent, how is that feedback stored in the Supabase database and how is it fetched back to create a proper email in the next round? So the same mistake should not be repeated twice. And hard-coded rules. If there are some specific rules which you want to enforce, how do you enforce that? So all of that we will see. Other than that, the only prerequisites are having Python, having Claude Code, because my workflow is based on Claude Code. You can use any coding agent, but you need to have access to some coding agent. One discussion that I wanted to make was regarding the Pro plan, which is I think $20 versus Max plan. I think Pro plan will allow you to implement something as long as it is one project, like as long as the number of tokens are in the scope of one project, but it will not allow you to conduct. And I don't know whether it refreshes every session. Maybe it does. I have to check. But I have Max plan. Time will be from 9:30 a.m. most likely. I'll finalize it. Currently, I have announced it as 9 a.m., but 9:30 a.m. on Saturday. It will mostly go for 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours. For Saturday session, you will not require EC2 instance. EC2 instance was my way of showing you, hey, if you want to control your workflow remotely, this is what you can do. But on Saturday, we will be using Openclaw is optional. We will use tmux because in case what if your app building is taking time. So for those of you who want to properly build a nice app, which may take 4 hours, 5 hours of build, and you want to move away from your computer and do your stuff, I recommend you go with EC2 on Saturday. CCO, yeah, there is one question about CCO on Windows. I actually don't know the solution in the sense like I have seen this being a recurrent issue that CCO when you are installing on Windows, it's not working. I don't know. I don't know whether CCO is meant for OS or just for Windows. I don't know. So that you will have to figure out yourself. But other than that, for those of you who want to do a serious building, which will take several hours, even after the session, go with EC2 instance and there either use OpenClaw or tmux. That's the first thing. Second thing is you will need some coding agent. I don't care what it is, but whatever works for you. I strongly prefer Claude Code because it's really good with Opus 4.6. And once you use it, you will truly realize the productivity gains and you will probably not go back. And it's worth the investment if you truly want to do something amazing with it, amazing with coding agents. Apart from that, everything else you need, we will be covering in the session itself. And we run everything in local. Initially, we'll do everything in local, but we will also deploy because ultimately you want a deployed app. Otherwise, you'll have to run everything on local each and every time. So we'll have a deployed app hopefully by the end of the session. It will probably not be the greatest of the apps. You will have to take a lot more effort to make it great. In 2.5 hours, you can't build a great app, but it will be a decent app that will work according to your preferences. And in the project, yes, we can discuss about context window, which LLM is using for that particular application. Because at the end of the day, when you are building, when you learn about context window and context engineering, you at the end of the day, you want to use it to build something. And while building, you will realize that, oh, my LLM has a token window of like 150K tokens or 200K tokens, which means if I have a markdown file or JSON file which consumes 20K tokens, which was the case recently for one of our projects, the entire system prompt was 20K tokens. And because of that reason, too much latency was there in the application. So then we decided actually the system prompt should not be like a dumping ground for everything. It should just have very basic instructions. Everything should be in a hierarchical folder structure plus RAG on top of it. So we will discuss those things. We will try to minimize as less context as possible and try to get as best output. All right. I think we'll wind up the lecture here. There's a question from Roshan, content later on this: evaluation methods, ground truth, LLM as a judge, user simulation, production anti-pattern, post-mortem diagnosis. Yeah, we can have a brief discussion about production anti-pattern, but I have some interesting material on LLM as a judge, evaluation methods, etc., which I plan to. So there are few more material which I have not released because I have not finished fully making it and compiling it. So there are some PDF notes which I want to share with you. So that will be compiled sometime end of this week or early next week, and I'll be posting it on the website dashboard. So thank you so much, everyone. I know that for many of you in today's session, I'm not 100% sure how many of you managed to create EC2 instance or how many of you even managed to reach the level where Openclaw is installed, because each of you have a different computer, a different configuration, and there are n number of roadblocks you can encounter. What I suggest is go through the recording of this session once you are done with the session, once I post the recording, and then sit on it once and then fix each issues one by one. To fix all the issues, at the very first step, install Claude Code. It will tell you what exactly to do, whatever your technical issue is, right? Even if you are facing issues in AWS, there also you can solve it with the help of Claude Code. You just provide it screenshots, it will tell you exactly what to do. So use Claude Code wisely as somebody like someone who's smarter than most of the humans on the planet and somebody who knows everything, and that person is sitting right next to you. That is Claude Code. So use it like that and build things fast. So after this session, even if you have not managed to reach the final stage of some website outcome, don't worry, just go through the recording once, and by Saturday just be ready with everything. So see you next on Saturday at most likely 9:30 a.m. Currently the announcement is that it is 9 a.m., but I will most likely push it to 9:30 a.m. because there is a slight overlap with another session with Dr. Rajat is conducting separately. So we'll mostly start in 9:30 a.m. so that there is only half an hour overlap. Some students in this course is also taking that course on VLA and world models for robotics. So just to minimize the overlap. Anyways, it's just for one lecture. So yeah, I know many of you are attending that. So I will ask Rajat also, should the first session go for 8 to 10 a.m. IST, or should it finish in by 9:30? In that case, there will be no overlap. So I'll talk with him. So thank you so much, everyone. We will meet again on Saturday. Please be prepared with everything: Claude Code or any coding agent, Python, and some brief review of today's session so that you know the workflow kind of. Previous sessions, even if you have missed something, it's okay in my opinion. It's just that you will probably not have a great sense of where things fit in the theory, but that's okay. You can still build. So thank you so much. See you in 3 days. Bye.